After I got out of the school there, they sent me a quartermaster in signal school. They said that'd be one of the jobs would be steering the ship. Now that's for me because that didn't require any mechanical aptitude. All I'm doing is doing this there. So that was for me itself. So after that school, I went to quartermaster in signal school in San Diego. Then they assigned me August 15th of 1941. They assigned me to USS Pennsylvania. Reported aboard at Pearl Harbor itself. USS Pennsylvania is the flagship of the fleet. Whenever it came into port, it tied up at the dock. Tied up at the dock. In fact, RHIP, you know that rank has its privileges there. Whenever we came in port, we tied up at the dock. Admiral that we would always have aboard always liked us to walk off the ship. Some of these other people there ride a boat for about 15, 20 minutes to get ashore. So rank has its privileges there, and so whenever we got in port, we tied up at a dock. When I came aboard that ship, they had a good football team. I decided there that I'd join that team because I'd already played 2 years of high school and 1 year of semi-pro, and football was my main sport at that time. I joined the ship's football team. We had a good football team. I think we had 9-1 record. In fact, we played the University of Hawaii at a nothing tie. We did have a good team. Now I mentioned normally when we get in port, we tied up at a dock. We had propeller trouble there this one time there. This about, I think about the 1st or 2nd of December 1941, we had propeller trouble. They put us in a dry dock. Put us in a dry dock with 2 other destroyers. I know most of you know what a dry dock is, so I won't go into that. There's no water underneath you. Put inside the enclosure there. Close the gate. Pump the water out, and you got blocks that the ship was set on. 2 other destroyers were in dry dock with us there, the Cassin and the Downs, 2 destroyers. Same dry dock with us there. We're scheduled to play USS Arizona for Fleet Football Championship, 1 o'clock, December 7th, 1941. Due to the fact we was going to have that game that afternoon, they decided to have a little scrimmage. We'd leave a ship at 8 o'clock in the morning, go over to a little field close by, have a scrimmage with our padding on. There's no place to change clothes, so we put everything on except our helmet and spikes. We'd carry them over and put those on when you get over at the field itself. Now the living compartment of the quartermasters is down by the rudder, back by the back part of the ship. Way down, you get any further, you're outside the ship. Really, you're way down next to the propellers, back by the rudder itself. We're going to schedule to leave the ship at 8 o'clock in the morning. Get ready for that game. Practice with our padding on. About 7 minutes 8 there, phone rang. That's a phone between the ship's the people on the ship itself, not an outside phone. It's on the ship's phone. I picked up the phone, answered the phone there, and one of our guys that was up on deck says, "The Japanese attacking Pearl Harbor." I said, "Oh, come on." We'd been joking about it there, whether we're getting a war or not, and we figured, no, no one would dare attack us. We had 8 battleships in port there. We were strong. At that time, the strength of the Navy were battleships there. No one would dare attack us. About that time, the ship shuddered. Evidently, some of our people were close by till their guns saw what was going on, went to their guns, started shooting at the planes before the rest of us knew what was going on. That time, general quarters went, "All hands man your battle stations there." Now, you don't, when battle stations go, you don't change clothes and do this and do that. You go. I'm in my football uniform on there. My battle station's up in the crow's nest, about 70 feet up in the air. I got to go up in those, to get up to the spot there, the left pillar there is where the crow's nest is. About 70, 80 feet above the main deck there. That's my battle station. Now to get up there, you go up, there's a big pole about this wide there. rungs, on ladder rungs to get up there. You go up on the right pillar and come down the left pillar. It's one-way traffic here. You don't, you have a big mess. You go the wrong way. So to get up there, go up that mast, a little trap door to get in there. I pulled myself through there because there wasn't room to go straight up to, with all my padding on. By the time I got up there, planes are buzzing around, ships are burning. Just a few minutes' time, it took me, even though that's 608 feet long there, and I'm way in the back part of the ship there, you're going double time, triple time even, though, to get up there in a hurry. By the time I got up there, planes were flying around, buildings are burning, ships are burning there. Things were very, very bad. Some of the planes were lower down than I was because the torpedo plane comes down low, drops his torpedo, and then comes back up and goes. They looked close enough you could hit them with rocks. If you had any rocks, they weren't that close, but they looked awfully close there. We were in our normal place. Found out later, years later, that 2 planes were scheduled to hit the USS Pennsylvania there. We're the flagship of the fleet there. They wanted to make sure that the flagship of the fleet is wiped out. You know, in your Indian movies there, you wipe out the chief there, you got a better chance of winning the war there. 2 planes were scheduled to hit the USS Pennsylvania. Well, we weren't in our normal place, but they knew, they were up to date on everything there, on where the ships were at, and knew the schedule, the ships would be in port. They knew, they had all that information itself there. So the first attack, they did not hit us. But evidently there, some of the pilots from the first attack reported the aircraft carrier to the people there that it's a big ship in dry dock with 2 other destroyers. So the second attack, there was about 10-minute gap in between the first attack and the second attack. Second attack, they hit us. 500-pound bomb came between those two masts. 500-pound bomb came way down, hit the main deck, and exploded. It shook me, but it didn't hurt me at all. It's kind of scary. You see a big hole alongside of you there. If I saw the bomb coming itself, I'd have probably fainted right there. But I didn't see it. I saw the effect of it there. When we got hit, the destroyer, you know, the Cassin, the next picture to the right, that is the USS Pennsylvania in dry dock there with the 2 other, on this side of it is the 2 destroyers. To the right of it is a Cassin. When it got hit, we got hit at the same time. It started rolling over on the other destroyer itself. It started burning. They said, flood the dry dock, put out the fire. Only bad thing is that oil from the destroyer came on top of the water, caught fire, it started burning there. We had flames all around us there, because oil and water do not mix there. We got hit, that was the only hits that we had. Now the third attack was supposed to be hitting the aircraft carriers, oil tanks, and the repair facilities. Now, normally the aircraft carriers would be in port. Japan knew they were going to be in port. So they were scheduled, the third attack was against the aircraft carriers, the fuel facilities, and repair facilities. But the aircraft carriers were not in port. Admiral Halsey, with the Enterprise and Lexington, were taking planes to Midway Island, Wake Island. They were not in port. They were supposed to be in port. Japan knew they were in port there, so that's why they was going to wipe out the aircraft carriers. But they wanted to make sure they hit the battleships first, because at that time, the strength of the Navy were battleships itself. Now, Admiral Halsey's group were delayed about 12 hours coming back to Pearl Harbor. So there was no third attack. Admiral Nagumo of the Japanese fleet got the word there, no aircraft carriers were in port there. He said, we're leaving. He was not unanimous. The other people wanted to take part in it, have the third attack there. No, he said, we don't know where the aircraft carriers are, we're leaving. So they did leave. If they would have had a third attack, I'm sure we'd have lost the war, because if the ships were damaged there, tow them 2,000 miles back to the States there for repairs, oil 2,000 miles away, it would have been disaster. I'm sure, I'd swear that we'd have lost the war if there had been a third attack. But due to the fact there's no aircraft carriers in port, there's no third attack there, in the oil, repair facilities, we're safe because the ships that were hit were right there in Pearl Harbor. Some of them just sunk down in the mud. They was able to get repaired right there. Now, of all the ships that were hit there at Pearl Harbor, there's only 3 of them that did not rise to fight again. USS Arizona, which is a memorial there, the visitor center and all that there, the sister ship of the Pennsylvania. USS Utah was an old battleship, older than the Pennsylvania. It had planks on it. They used it for target practice. And the USS Oklahoma. USS Oklahoma is this ship right here. That's a ship laying over on its side. It sunk in 20 minutes time, due to the fact that on Monday morning, all ships were scheduled to have all their areas there inspected. So most of the ships there had them, because some of the bigger ships took a long time to get it done. A lot of the ships there opened up their places there over the weekend, so they wouldn't have to worry about it on Monday morning. So the USS Oklahoma, 20 minutes time, it's laying over on its side. Now you see people on it, that's people digging holes, digging with metal, cutting torches there, trying to get people out. I know 2 people that went out through portholes when the Oklahoma was rolling over. They're gone now, but they went out through portholes due to the fact that the chaplain on the USS Oklahoma, he was a big guy, he couldn't get out to the portholes. He pushed these people out through the portholes himself. He went down with the Oklahoma itself. That ship was righted, I think the next year, or about a year later, the ship was finally righted. It was sold for scrap. They tried to tow it back to the States there, but bad weather got to it and it was sunk on its way. Every one of the other ships rose to fight again in World War II. Every one of the Japanese fleet that were used in attack on Pearl Harbor was sunk during World War II. Due to the fact there, of course, things that happened later on that I'll get to itself.